Hi everyone. Our final class of compound to deal with are called esters. They have a functional group where we have a carbon chain, an oxygen right in the middle, and then another carbon chain with a double bonded oxygen right next door. We're saying that there's two different carbon chains separated by an oxygen. However, in addition, right next door to that oxygen on the right-hand side of it, or on the left-hand side of it, is a double bonded oxygen. There's two parts to the ester functional group, an oxygen in between some carbons, and then right next door, on one side or the other, a double bonded oxygen. The side that has the double bonded oxygen on it is called the acid side. And then the other side is the alcohol side. This is a really important distinction to make because we have to name the alcohol side first. That's the front part, the left-hand part of the name. And then the acid part is the end of the name. Because there's two different carbon chains, the name itself is actually going to be two words. It's the first time we've encountered that. Yes, we've had dashes and commas and numbers interrupting our names up until now. Everything has been one long word. These are two distinct words to represent the two different carbon chains in the ester. We're not going to name this one down here. I just want to do a quick look at identifying the acid or the alcohol side. My suggestion for a good strategy is put a line right through the oxygen that's in the chain. Find that oxygen that's in between two carbons and put a line right through it. That's really going to make the double bonded oxygen stand out. It's going to be right next to, this one has it on the right hand side, but it could have been on the left hand side. Look for that double bonded oxygen. The side with the double bonded oxygen is called the acid side. So this side right here is the acid side. This example, which we're not going to go through the whole naming process for, has a two carbon chain on the acid side. On the left-hand side, that's the double bonded oxygen is not there. The side with the double bonded oxygen is the acid. The other side is the alcohol side. This is the alcohol side of this ester molecule, and it has a 3 carbon chain. It's all about deciding which is the acid side and which is the alcohol side. We don't usually write that down, but it's our important first thinking step anytime we have to name an ester. Now let's look at the steps for the naming process. We want to name the alcohol side first. That means we have to identify which side even is the alcohol side, and then we're going to name it first. We're going to name it like it was a branch, like it was an alkyl group. If there happens to be branches on the alcohol side, we would follow our normal naming rules: methyl, ethyl, dimethyl. However, in a way similar to carboxylic acids, we would start numbering from the functional group. The functional group, this would be carbon number 1, and then we're moving out from there. For the second part of the name, the second word, is the acid side. We're going to name it like it was an alkane. Take the E off, like we've seen in a couple of different chemicals so far, and then add, this time, OATE, OATE. Here's a few examples. So we have methanoate, methanoate, ethanoate, propanoate, butanoate, pentanoate, etc. And just like we said for the alcohol side, if there are extra branches on the acid side, we would use our normal naming rules: methyl, ethyl, dimethyl, but start counting from the functional group. So this would be carbon number 1 on the acid side, and this would be carbon number 2, moving away from this line. Let's give this chemical a name. We identified the alcohol on the acid side already. We're going to name the alcohol side first, like it was a branch. 3 carbons is prop, but like a branch, propyl. Propyl. Then we do a separate word for the second carbon chain. Name it like an alkane. This one has 2 carbons in it, so that would be ethane, and then we're going to put on O8, ethanoate. Here, we don't have any extra branches. We tend not to get them actually with esters. Sometimes we do. So, put a line through that oxygen to help you identify the alcohol or the acid side. The side that has the double bonded oxygen is the acid side. It's the second part of the name. It's the one that gets O8. The alcohol side shows up first in the name. We name it like a branch. This particular one is propyl ethanoate. We'll be doing some more examples in the next video. However, I hope this helps, this introduction to esters.